Court's historic 5th season kicks off tonight with the Court National Cup Series CourtRacing.com Shootout at Daytona. Hi there, everybody. David Amboys alongside Chris Sweat, and Court Vision returns to the air for this exciting event.
Dave, I gotta tell you, man, I'm thrilled to be here. This gives me goosebumps just watching them go around the track. It sucks that we couldn't be out there for it, but it's gonna be a great show tonight.
Yes, we get ready for this one exciting event, a non-points race involving 7 drivers in the Court National Cup Series so far. 7 here right now at the moment. Potential for as many as 12 as a smaller field gets ready to go here at Daytona for a 35-lap, 2-segment race with a unique format.
It is. I mean, these are right now the 7 fastest drivers in the Court National Cup Series. You have a mix of super speedway talent, and you have a mix of aggressive drivers and, well, your average normal drivers. So I don't know what we're going to see tonight.
Yeah, it could be very interesting. Why don't we go ahead and look over the format for tonight and the venue of tonight's event, the Daytona International Speedway. 2.5-mile tri-oval built in Daytona Beach, Florida, 1959. We all know about it, in 31-degree corners. 35 laps tonight, 20 laps is the first segment, and then that second segment, which is key here and is why our graphic looks slightly different tonight, 15 green flag laps will make up the second segment of this one.
You got to think, the first segment, everyone's going to be feeling each other out, getting used to driving with each other again. That second segment, we're going to see some sparks fly, guarantee it.
Yes, that second segment, 15 green flag laps, and with that ruling and only counting the green flag laps, it has thrown a little bit of a corkscrew into things, so we will have a slightly different look to tonight's graphic. The ticker at the top of the screen there, it is listing the current lap that we are currently on. Unfortunately, it will count the caution laps, but we will try and keep you guys posted over there watching on the stream as close as possible as to what the actual lap is. We will try and inform you as best as possible. Why don't we go ahead and take a look at the points from last season, wrapped up just a few weeks ago, and right back at it. Steven Taylor was able to hold off Mike Husby in that thrilling finale at Chicago, winning the championship by only 3 points, and now the title defense begins with both of them here in this CourtRacing.com shootout.
That was the best championship battle we've had in the history of Court, in my honest opinion. It could not have been closer. And, you got to think, is Mike Husby a little mad? Is he a little bit jealous? Is he going to try something here tonight? I doubt it because it's Husby. But, this race, it's no points. There's really no reason to hold back. We could see something tonight.
Could be very interesting. A lot of drivers there at the second half of the season really rebounded. Some drivers were glad to see Chicago come and go and finally wrap up a tough season. One of those might have been Andrew Hess, not here tonight. Did not get a pole, so he's not eligible to race tonight. Julian Medore was one of those names that kind of was hoping for a better first half of the season to contend for the championship. 6 DNFs early on in last season, and he's definitely looking to improve on that from there. And speaking of this season, why don't we go ahead and take a look at the first 10 races of the Court National Cup Series. Of course, in 2 weeks' time over on LSR TV, the Daytona 500K. That will be very, very exciting. We're looking forward to that. Richmond, then Homestead, Miami, then Sonoma. That makes up the Manufacturers Cup. All 3 races sponsored by the 3 manufacturers of the Court National Cup Series. Then Bristol, Vegas, Talladega is a wild card. That's right smack dab in the middle of the schedule this season. Indianapolis, then the Independence 500K, the ever-popular 206-lap race at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. And then Dover, Delaware will be making its first appearance on the Court schedule. It will be on October 29th. First 10 races, a nice variety of tracks, a 1.5 miles, some short tracks, 2 super speedways.
And that's what I love about our seasons. It's such a good mixture of everything. You don't go back to the same place or same style of track that often. It's variety, and it's challenging as a driver to adapt to each different track. It's fun. It's fun to get up there. It's frustrating, but it's a lot of fun. And now we've got Goodyear's come back with some different tires for this season. Cars are a little bit different, the aerodynamics and handling. It's going to be interesting, that's for sure.
Absolutely, as this gets ready to go. In fact, why don't we go ahead and take a look at one of the unique things to tonight's event is the pace car, as a matter of fact, is the number 70 of Jim Gutta. Jim Gutta is the official Court National Cup Series pace car for the Court Shootout here. As let's go ahead and see how he looks. He's getting some time out there on the racetrack there, as now it is wrapped up and we get ready to go for 15 minutes of open qualifying.
This is something new that we actually started off doing at Talladega last year. Correct me if I'm wrong, Dave.
Yes.
I am wrong?
No, you are right. No. It was at Talladega.
15 minutes open qualifying. I mean, it's hot lapping. You're trying to fall back, get that run to get your lap time up there. Obviously, with a 7-car field, you don't have to really be towards the front. But, as you look, everybody's sitting on pit road right now, waiting to go. And Steven Taylor is the first one out on the track right now.
Yeah, our defending champion, Steven Taylor, has decided to get going here and actually make a run. Steven Taylor is now actually, let's focus in on this pack. They are now starting to roll out. John Dragonetti, Brett Black, Julian Medore in the Bass Pro Shops entry, Mike Husby in the Toyota, that's something I'm going to touch on later on, and Dakota Ehrman make up a 5-car grouping here. So why don't we go ahead and see what they can turn out here as we get going with 15 minutes of open qualifying. And you will see this in the Court National Cup Series this season. On all tracks a mile and bigger, except for the Independence 500K and the Daytona 500K with their special qualifying formats. It will be a group qualifying format for all these events on tracks a mile and larger. So we won't see this again until the 3rd race of the season at Homestead, Miami, but it will be the norm this season.
And I keep using the word exciting a lot, but it is. As a driver, knowing that you have to, especially when we get to a plate track, it's all about pack racing, but you're out there trying to hot lap the best lap you can. You're going to have traffic. It's going to be frustrating. It's going to be fast. Tempers could flare. More than likely probably will. But, it's just a great new feature that we've tested out and fully going with now, and it's going to be crazy. And right now we've actually got kind of 2 different, as now Ehrman falls off the back, they're going to try to drop back and probably get a run to get the good lap time in. It's 2 by 2 tandems pushing each other right now. And you can realistically only push for about a lap and a half before you have to switch. So you get that one hot lap and you back off and let the other guy get a lap in and you switch again. And that's the best way to keep it going, in my opinion.
Yeah, as here we go. Julian Medore, the quickest lap that time, a 45.279. Now on the pole for this 35-lap event as we roll through here. And as you look here, a lot of brand manufacturer, brand identity right now. Mike Husby in the Toyota, and Husby Motorsports, one of the teams that has made the move over to TRD. A couple of other teams making some manufacturer moves. David Amboy's Developments moving over to the Chevrolet platform that they used to be, and a lot of other teams making some moves. Outlaw Racing, a new team in the series, are going to be running Ford. Zierman Motorsports going to be running Chevrolets, and a lot of brand identity, which led to the formation of the Manufacturer Cup, which will be very interesting. The top 3 of the 2nd, 3rd, and 4 races of the season, the top 3 from each manufacturer will be earning points, and then the winner will win the Manufacturer Cup and bragging rights for the remainder of the year. So a nice little championship for these guys to play for right off the bat after Daytona.
I know, it's going to be absolutely exciting. I keep using that word. I'm really excited. God damn, I'm really excited.
Well, it's the 5th season of Court. Very historic, exciting season, and those 3 races will be at Richmond, Homestead, Miami, and the Sonoma Raceway. So 3 very different racetracks will host those 3 races.
Now, Dave, as you watch now, Brett Black actually dropped off the back of this pack. He's going to pull in cool down his car, go back out there, and try to put down another hot lap. John Dragonetti is on top of the board right now. He actually tandemed with Brett to get up there and set that fast time. And right now it's kind of calmed down. Your standard Daytona 2x2 tandem. And whoa, his husband gets a little bit out of control. That's definitely going to kill the lap time. See now, more contact. I don't think these guys know this is just qualifying.
Yeah, they don't really seem to realize it, as our top 5 right now, presented by Trading Paints, the official paint scheme exchange of the championship online racing teams. We had it there just a minute ago. And here it is again. John Dragonetti, Brett Black, Mike Husby, Julian Medor, and Dakota Ehrman are your top 5 at the moment. As we get through this, how much time do we have remaining in this qualifying session there, Chris?
We've got 5 minutes remaining here in the qualifying session. Steven Taylor and Matt Harrington have both not really had a chance to get up in that time. They've been kind of running by themselves. You can't do that. If you want to be fast, you have to be in that pack. And we see now that they are slowing up a bit to let the pack catch them, so they will now try to contend for the top spot, but Dragonetti, that is showing his dominance. One of the best plate racers in the business. It's going to be hard to beat him.
Matt Harrington, one of the Ford Performance Racing Group, who are about to announce a 4th driver any day now. The team expanding to 4 cars, and that's another note for this exciting new Court National Cup Series season. 4 cars being allowed on a full-time basis starting this season.
Now, Dave, what you're looking at here is this is your field. This is the shootout field all running together in one pack, kind of. Soon it'll be in one pack, somewhat, yes. You know, this is also a good chance, good kind of test to feel each other out. How can you run next to a guy? Can you run him low? Do you have to give him room? This is the best way to really figure out how you're going to race with somebody.
Yeah, and it may be a smaller field than a lot of people are somewhat expected to see, but tonight it's the pole winners, and a lot of drivers may not focus on those pole positions, but you got to realize that a lot of the time the races are won on pit lane, and that number 1 pit stall that you get from qualifying on the pole is very important. And John Dragonetti and a lot of these names are very familiar with how important that number 1 pit stall is.
Definitely. I got lucky when I won the Daytona 250. I started dead last on the field and just worked my way up with some pit strategy and great teammates. But definitely pit stall selection is crucial. The higher you qualify, the easier pit stall you have. And it's, you get that number 1 pit stall, you're usually first one out of the box, and it can be a championship.
Yeah, just look at what could happen and what all the calamity that happened at Chicago a few weeks ago in the season finale. Steven Taylor getting loose, getting down the backstretch, and having to work his way back up through the field and ending up just barely surviving. Mike Husby was the better car that night, but Steven Taylor padded his lead and did what he had to do the weeks prior to make sure that he could bring home the championship. And that's what matters sometimes, you know, just racing luck. We get close to the end of this qualifying session. John Dragonetti still has the fastest time of 44.8.
Not anymore, Dave. Matt Harrington.
Yeah, just now, Matt Harrington, top of the board. The number 2 Alliance Truck Parts Machine, 44.692. A very fast lap time for Matt Harrington. He is currently top of the board here.
He and Steven Taylor did that draft perfectly. Harrington fell back off of Taylor, and so Taylor could catch the pack, pull Harrington in to get that speed, and by the time they got to the line, they just barely caught the pack, so which rocketed Harrington up to the top spot. They couldn't have done that any better.
Brett Black, maybe a tactical move there on Taylor to prevent him from getting a good lap time there in 3 and 4, possibly. Not sure on that. Maybe not.
Yes.
Maybe so.
Oh yes. I can tell you from experience.
We're 3 wide in qualifying.
Right, this is qualifying. This is not the race. You are watching qualifying. This is crazy.
Qualifying.
But yes, there is some of that tactics going on there. There is. You want to slow up a car. I know, and I'm openly admitting it. There was a time I slowed up somebody so they couldn't get a fast lap time. It's how you play the game. You don't want somebody to out-qualify you. You gotta do what it takes.
Here in the end of this one. You got a time check there, Chris?
I actually read the time wrong, Dave. It was going to lapse time, not counting down. So we actually have 5 minutes left.
5 minutes now. 5 minutes remaining.
Lapse time is 9 minutes and 25 seconds, so it's a little bit over 5 minutes left.
Okay. We got a little over 5 minutes. Again, apologies, we don't have the time on the graphic overlay, but of course this is the qualifying going on at the moment, so that is why so. Matt Harrington is your current pole sitter. This is group qualifying, a preview of sorts of what you're going to see in the Court National Cup Series this season on tracks a mile and larger. So that will be very exciting this season, and a lot of changes in general, new places, new faces, new numbers, we just saw it when we focused in on the points a few moments ago, a few different names in different places and different numbers, and Cody McCorkle's got a different number. He moves over to Husby Motorsports and ran the finale for that team and won at Chicago a few weeks ago.
Mr. Super Speedway is back on top of the board. John Dragonetti worked the draft perfect and put a 44.570.
Yes, John Dragonetti, he's back up top of the board. He moves up to the top of 44.57, 44.573 for Brett Black. So right now it's a Smoke Racing 1-2. Those two, the only two from that team here tonight. And in fact, one of the few teams that have teammates here. Him and Ford Performance Racing are the only two that have teammates here tonight. So it will be interesting to see if those two will work together in the actual event.
I was just watching Julian's lap there. Something happened. He slowed down in turns 3 and 4, but he was closing in on Dragonetti. I think he caught him too soon because he was on a liar of a lap, and I think that would have put him up in the top 3.
Yeah, and the very interesting thing about this is you can't really push in group qualifying. It kind of negates your lap if you push here in the iRacing.com service, choosing to say, hey, that's too much, or hey, that's not enough, or however you want to put it. Needless to say, the name of the game is don't push, and it seems to have paid off. These guys are getting a lot of old school drafts, if I can use the term.
Get a quick glimpse of Jim Gutta in the race car as the field goes by. He's probably warming up that Mustang.
Yeah, Jim Gutta in the pace car just a moment ago on the apron. We just saw him a moment ago as they kind of shuffle out here, 3 abreast as they head down the back straightaway. Brett Black hard down to the apron. He's going to call it a run. He's happy with his time as this 5-car group looks like a literal
3 wide still, man.
They are 3 wide at the moment. Mike Husby's going to fall into the line here, try and get a nice suck up here.
I think Julian's lost the draft. He's too far back. It's going to be really hard for him to grab onto Husby's draft and pull him in, unless Husby slows up and lets him catch him, which now that I'm watching it, looks like he is doing that, yep. Julian almost got screwed there. He was too far back.
So we have the Smoke Racing affiliate, Ehrman and John Dragonetti working together. You got the 2 Ford Performance Racing teammates of defending champion Stephen Taylor and Matt Harrington, and you've got Mike Husby and Julian Medor, both Canadians. So a little bit of a chain here as now Husby is getting a really nice run. Wow! Dakota Ehrman almost comes down into him, and Julian Medor is coming along with them. What a fast lap this might be.
They are flying, no doubt about it. Here they come to the line. Let's see what they can do.
Husby runs a 45 or 44, no 45.4. So this lap will probably be the one that counts. He kind of mistimed it there slightly, might have been a little bit too far back. As now here comes Dakota Ehrman on the inside as Julian Medor is going to try and time it out again as John Dragonetti will go ahead and call it a run as well.
You're seeing a lot of courtesy going on here. Dakota moved up out of the way, so the Ford Performance Racing duo of Harrington and Taylor could try to get that fast lap. I'm shocked by that. I honestly don't think I would have seen people be as nice, but you know, small field, doesn't really mean much of the race, more for bragging rights. I can see it happening.
And qualifying for the 500K will be very, very interesting 1 week from tonight. It will not be exactly like this. It will be slightly different. It will be single car runs, but 30 lap duels and there are drivers locked in, and there are drivers who are not locked in. Exciting action going on.
Yeah, the duels are the most nerve-wracking thing if you're not locked in. Luckily, myself this year, I am locked in. I don't have to worry about that, and most of my team is. But when you're not locked in and you're stuck in the back and you've got to get up through the field, your heart's racing. Sometimes you're holding your breath, and when the laps wind down, it's stressful. There's no other stressful thing, in my honest opinion. But as we look at here, on-track action seems to be dying down. We're in the last 15 seconds. Husby and Ehrman are looking like they're going to get one more lap in. Steve Lovender has actually pulled up on the track. He had some trouble in tech. The car wasn't really passable. I don't know what was going on there. I'm going to plead the fifth because it's my team. But Lovender finally made it on there, and looks like he's going to start scratch on this now 8-car field.
All right. Well, the 1979 Busch Clash, which we were streaming before the event, was a 9-car race. This one is going to be an 8-car race. So we get a pretty good amount of cars.
We're going
here.
old school.
We're going old school here on Court Vision tonight. In fact, our race is nearly double the length of that we watched before we went on the air. And by the way, if you guys are interested in checking out some NASCAR races in the future, maybe we stream them before we go on the air in the future here on Court Vision. So, here we go. 35 laps. Again, the format, 20 miscellaneous laps, if I can use a term, and then 15 green flag laps will make up this 8-car field and this 35-lap event here tonight at the Daytona International Speedway to kick off Court's historic 5th season. Field is getting ready to go. Why don't we go ahead and run down the running order for tonight's CourtRacing.com shootout.
Alrighty. On pole, no shocker there. We've got John Dragonetti in the number 14. There's Brett Black in the now number 4 car. He changed from the number 91 to the number 4 to be more in line with the team. Row 2, we got a nice mix of talented drivers here. Mike Husby in the number 6 car, and Dakota Ehrman in the number 88, who is also new team, new number. Row 3, looking at the Ford Performance Racing duo of Matt Harrington and Steven Taylor. The next row, for number I'm on, Julian Mador for 4. Julian Mador and Steve Lovender round out the field.
Yep, an 8-car field. Again, a smaller field, but an exciting field. As we wait on, I believe, the 51 of Julian Mador, and then we'll be good to go. The regular iRacing.com pace car will pace this one, but every other pace event will be held by the pace car driver Jim Gutta here tonight. One of the unique quirks to tonight's event. Again, for those of you just tuning in right here, right before we go green, just want to let you know that ticker at the top of the screen, that is the current laps completed. It'll make sense in a few minutes as we get ready to go here tonight at Daytona. 35 laps. What are you telling your driver right now at this time, Chris?
I'm telling him to stay calm, and I actually, I told Steve before the race, he is my driver, stay calm, run a normal CSR super speedway strategy. It's a long race for this many cars, and it's just you want to be there at the end. First run, hang in the back, feel it out. Don't try to push the car too hard. See what it's got. See if you can make any passes, but really don't abuse the car. This first little segment really doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, this is just about getting to lap 20 and the competition caution at that point. Getting to that second segment here. And also, these guys are going to be using this as a test tool for the next 2 weeks in between the Matador Sim Designs shootout, or Matador Sim Designs duels, and the Daytona 500K in 2 weeks' time. So these guys are at a prime opportunity to get a little bit more advantage on the rest of the field as far as track time goes.
Definitely, and that's really all they're thinking about right now. Is feel the car out, take down some mental notes, see what you got for the next couple of weeks. The duels are run at night. This is a big help to figure out how the car is going to work. This race here and these 8 drivers are going to gain so much more knowledge over the rest of the field because they're here tonight.
Field working down the long super stretch. One of the more historic shots, or one of the more historic looking races or racetracks in America, the Daytona International Speedway, getting ready to kick off another season of court racing, another season of Championship Online Racing Teams action. It's been 5 seasons. We're working into our 5th season already. Can you believe it?
This was a pipe dream. We thought this up at like the middle of the night one night, and look at us now. We have 3 amazing series, epic points battles. Did you honestly think we'd make it this big?
I don't believe we've ever even thought that. I would never even think that we would ever make it to this point. Granted, it looks a little tame in comparison tonight, but trust me, in 2 weeks when you tune into LSR TV, it's going to be big. Pace car off into the pit lane. Here we go. 5 seasons of racing underway. Here we go. The CourtRacing.com shootout in green.
Pretty tame right now. Dragon Eddie pulls out to a little bit of a lead, but obviously you know the pack will catch him back in here. 2 by 2 they go as they dive off into turn 1.
Similar looking cars of Brett Black and Dakota Ehrman working the top lane. Meanwhile, Mike Husby kind of shoving him up a little bit, as now Dragon Eddie will lead him as they come off at turn number 2 and hit the backstretch for the first time.
Husby right up on the back bumper of Dragon Eddie, pushing him down the backstretch. The 88 in the 4 of Black and Ehrman not quite connected here. That's going to hurt him a little bit. Now they hook up as they go into turn 3.
Yep, there goes Dragon Eddie. There's Mike Husby. Now Steven Taylor behind them, and Matt Harrington, the Ford Performance Racing teammates, and the only 2 Fords in the field.
Steve Lavender, Julian Medora taking the easy strategy, hanging back a little bit, keeping up during race a little bit. If they want to do that, that's fine. You don't have to do that. Hang out and have fun. Just kind of chill and run some laps, you know? I think everybody's pretty much calming down now. We've got a solid line. The bottom line here is we've got 4 cars at the bottom. But Black and Ehrman are trying to get top.
They're somewhat holding their own up there right now. They kind of somewhat are able to hang in there and keep up in touching, or they're able to keep touch with the leader. In fact, they might even be going by him as they go into 3.
Well, that 2-car tandem still is in effect with these cars, especially if the bottom line's not together. You can get a run on the high side. It's hard to do, but you can get up there and get around them.
So here we go, about to complete lap 2, about to start lap 3, as it looks as if it's a dead heat on the line, and I think Brett Black actually led that one. Yes, he did. Brett Black, current leader of that time by, as now he looks at him and Dakota Ehrman look to clear Dragon Eddie at the moment, but they're not going to be able to do so right now, and that lane is somewhat holding its own.
Hey, you got 2 on the top, 6 on the bottom as we fly down the backstretch here. Lavender and Medora have caught the back of the pack, but they really seem content just to hang out there. Brett Black dumps Ehrman, leaves him up high all by himself.
Oh, Brett Black has decided to side with his teammate, not the Smoke Racing affiliated Dakota Ehrman, and maybe that's a warning sign for Ehrman early on in this Daytona Speed Weeks that maybe, hey, keep your friends close and your enemies closer, perhaps.
You know, and that hurts when that happens. I mean, you work so hard to get him up towards the front, and then he just goes and dumps you like you're nothing to him, you know? It's, that hurts. You know, luckily in small field, he's only fallen back to 7th right now. Still right with the pack as everybody's now single file.
Single file now as they head down the iconic super stretch. Wow, Matt Harrington gets a little out of line there. Steve Lavender right behind him, and Dakota Ehrman's going to try and start something on the high side, and he might even fall back even further now as Steve Lavender and Julian Medora are pretty much bumper to bumper, so he might fall back all the way down to dead last and 8th as they come to complete lap 3 and start lap 4.
He's trying to run that high line all by himself. You can work the side draft a little bit and try to pull yourself up a little higher. I don't think anybody's going to go with him. I think everybody's pretty well content to run single file and get these laps done. But he's trying to let go.
Yeah, there goes Ehrman trying to hang in there. He's getting the side draft a bit, but not really able to get much going as that bottom lane is still able to draft up and keep the momentum going and able to do something. As now Husby's actually going to jump up high. Mike Husby and Toyota power. Mike Husby Motorsports making the move from Ford to Toyota as they try and find a competitive advantage with the Japanese manufacturer this season, as he's going to try and that four-car team switching Toyota is trying to show off that TRD horsepower at the moment. Not quite able to mount anything at the moment, but he looks as if he might have something as they come off of, or as they go into turn number 1 and come off at 2.
You know what I've noticed actually, Dave, and I just saw it out of the 2-car there, how much you have to get out of the gas if you're in the bottom line. The closing rate is so fast. You pull up on someone's bumper and you can't go anywhere and you're gridlocked in that line. That's a frustrating feeling.
And another thing that a lot of drivers have noted in testing is it's sketchy to give somebody the bumper in the middle of the corner. It has been very difficult to hang on to the car if you get a little bit of assistance in the middle of the corner.
Yeah, these Gen 6 cars are made to not tandem. You can do it, it's tough. You can also hook somebody just as easy. We had the test session last week, and I was thinking about that. Backfire on Harrington's car. He's getting way out of the gas.
Yeah, lap 7 we are currently on, 6 complete. We are currently on lap 7. The leader is Brett Black. John Dragonetti in second. Mike Husby actually now in second, trying to take the lead actually. But that might not amount to anything as Dakota Ehrman's kind of off the rear bumper of the Elliott's Collision Service Toyota as they head through 3 and 4 and come back down to the front straightaway to complete lap number 7.
Ehrman's definitely getting hot. That Xfinity Comcast Chevy is overheating a little bit, you know. You can only push for so long, and that's just going to hurt him. He's back in the bumper now to try to get some rally going here, but you can only push for so long, you know, and when the bottom line hooks up and you're separated up on top, you can just kiss the lead goodbye.
Husby may be regretting that move to the top lane as the cars come right at us as they head down the back straightaway, as Husby's trying to get something going on the back straightaway and into 3. He's able to get somewhat even with Brett Black, but not able to get by him or even mount a real legitimate charge to the lead.
Yeah, they're too erratic in that top line. They're not staying tight, and they're really just not going to go anywhere. You know, Brett, solid holding his line, weaved a little bit there, and but it's just that bottom line so strong, and these cars just they can't mount anything on the high side. That's what we found in testing. So you really got to push, and it's dangerous to push in the corners.
Right now, looking like a definite case of let's get to lap 20 right now, as these guys just try and make it to the halftime break or the halftime caution. As we head around on lap 9 right now, Brett Black and John Dragonetti, the two Spoke Racing teammates, making a statement early on in the speed weeks. They lead right now. Mike Husby is 3rd. Stephen Taylor is 4th, actually. 3rd, 4th, roughly around there. And Dakota Ehrman trying to hold his own in 5th, actually. And he's actually got an opening to go down. Wants to, but he's going to stay up there.
You know, Dakota's loyal. He'll stick with somebody, and hopefully Husby won't do it again.
Maybe he's sticking with the 6 to try and stick it to the 4 for Black early on in this event.
And you know, it wouldn't hurt. You look at, I mean, pretty much people are paired up. You've got John and Brett, obviously the Ford Performance Racing duo of Harrington and Taylor. I can bet you right now that the 32 of Lavender is going to work with Medor, so that kind of leaves those two. It's the great Darrell Waltrip believe they call it co-opetition. You know, you're not teammates, but you got to find someone to work with.
And in this race, where there's not a lot of teammates, there's only 2 sets of teammates in this event. You're gonna have to work with who you can find. You got to imagine that those guys are going to try and work together as best as they can. In fact, you're looking at it right now. The 2 sets of teammates are working together, and they're 1, 2, and 3, and 4 in the bottom lane. As John Dragonetti has completely disappeared. Dragonetti is completely gone from the screen. Maybe some net code, something that happens here in sim racing. As will you look at that? The top lane has more cars than the bottom lane right now.
You know, this is not good. That's not good for John.
Dragonetti gone, as now Mike Husby and Brett Black are battling at the top spot. And will you look at that? Mike Husby now is going to take the lead as we head down the tri-oval and turn 1 on lap 12. We have completed 11. Remember, that ticker at the top of the screen is the laps completed. At this very moment, we have 11 complete. There we go, down the back straightaway right now. Unfortunately, our broadcast colleague Chris Sweat having some issues at the moment. He'll be back whenever he can. We head back down the back straightaway. It is still Mike Husby and Dakota Ehrman, as Husby has kind of dumped Ehrman now. And boy, who's going to buy Dakota Ehrman a drink tonight? It doesn't appear to be anybody. Plus, he's underage. So that might not be a good move, as now Husby is going to take the lead. Mike Husby, the White Mamba, is now your leader at the moment, followed by Brett Black, Dakota Ehrman, Steven Taylor, and Steve Luvender, who is making a charge. So Luvender showing some prowess right now, even despite missing practice, as we head around on lap 12. They head down the back straightaway once again. Mike Husby, Steve Luvender dives to the bottom lane. He's going to fall in behind Matt Harrington as they head down the back straightaway and head into turn number 3 once again. Husby's still your leader. Brett Black, solid number 6 Elliott's Collision Service Toyota, that Discount Tire Chevrolet, and then Steven Taylor in the Ride Now Power Sports Ford, and Matt Harrington in the number 2 as Steve Luvender, here he goes, he's going to try and make a pass for the 4th position on the high side. Doesn't really have a lot of drive with him. Back, it appears as if Dakota Ehrman has now had connection issues. He's back for the moment, but now Julian Medor is falling up behind him. Julian Medor hasn't really mounted a charge lately, has kind of stuck in the back of the field, hasn't really tried anything. We'll have to see if that's strategy or a lack of horsepower for the Fury Inc. Motorsports team as they head through turn 3. Single file lane right now. These guys just trying to get to the finish of this one as they head through turn 4 and head down into the tri-oval once again. Alright, here we go now as Husby still leads. We're nearing that competition caution. After they complete this lap, we will have 5 to go to the competition caution. We will have to complete 20 laps in order to get to that caution. As you see John Dragonetti just a moment ago, just on our screen, he is back out there. So all 8 drivers are still out there. Dragonetti's going to need some help. He is 3 laps down at the moment, so we will have to see if the administration will grant him 1 lap back, which he probably will get, but we'll see if he gets his other ones here as we complete lap 16.
You know, yeah, feeling when you're talking, you don't think anybody's listening to you. It's really tight up my voice here. I stepped on my mic cord. So I was talking a lot the whole time, but didn't realize it wasn't really working.
You tore the XLR completely out. You had to run to the truck and get a wire. It's a very expensive mistake there, Chris Sweat, but we forgive you.
This is why I'm just a driver, you know. I don't go in the booth often. Once a year, baby, that's all I got.
We are back as Chris is back, as John Dragonetti is back, and these guys work around turn 4 and head back down to the front straightaway. All 8 cars still there, but John Dragonetti, you gotta imagine, with the fallout, is not a factor right now.
Definitely not, and you know, he's just riding around to that caution too. Like everybody is. It's almost, they're happy it's almost over, and then the real racing will begin.
Head through 1 and 2 once again. Luvender trying to mount a charge on the high lane. Not going to do it. He's going to duck back in line in between the Ford Performance Racing teammates as they head down the back straightaway again. Husby still your leader. Brett Black 2nd. Steven Taylor 3rd. Steve Luvender 4th. Dakota Ehrman 5th. Matt Harrington 6th. Julian Moore 7th. And John Dragonetti 8th. 3 laps down due to the connection issue. We are nearing that halftime break. Coming up any minute now. A few laps from now. And when that happens, that will be interesting to see the strategy in play. Not quite long enough for a cot or for fuel, but you might want to think about getting the tires.
Definitely. Fuel definitely won't be fuel won't be an issue. I want to tell you, it's always great to have fresh tires. The wear is not as bad as other tracks, but it can make you slip, it can make you slide, and you don't want to wreck that car. There's only 15 green flag laps.
Well, here comes Dakota Ehrman and Steve Luvender on 3 laps to go in the segment. They're trying to make a charge. And Steve Luvender is the current leader. Will he dump Dakota Ehrman again? We will see, as Ehrman has pushed 2 guys to the lead and hasn't been able to enjoy the reaps of his rewards and he's going to fall back again. Dakota Ehrman left, hung out to dry again. Steve Lavender falls in line in front of my cousin. 2 laps to go in the segment, and Steve Lavender, who did not get a single lap of practice, is currently your leader.
Man, oh man, I'm gonna have a talk with him. We're all about team over there at CSR, but you know, it's the shootout. It's for bragging rights. I feel bad for Dakota though. I know Lavender wants to win.
Dakota Ehrman getting some help from John Dragonetti. The lap car of John Dragonetti is trying to work his way back up there as we come to the white flag. This will be the white flag for segment number 1 of this CourtRacing.com shootout at Daytona, as we try and see what's going to happen here in between this and the leaders. So we wait to see what exactly is going to happen as they go through 1 and 2 once again for the final time in this segment. Steve Lavender still your leader. Mike Husby, a Toyota 1-2. And one of those teams being a Toyota staple and the other one being a Toyota newcomer. So it's interesting to see there as now Dakota Ehrman. Dakota Ehrman has pushed himself. John Dragonetti has helped Dakota Ehrman get a huge run. And Dakota Ehrman will come to the caution flag, and he will lead and win segment number 1 on this event. Oh, not quite. Maybe Lavender at the line might have stolen it. I think he might have. Steve Lavender might have stolen that one at the line, as it appears as if Lavender did not. It looks as if Dakota Ehrman is going to go ahead and win segment number 1. He passes Steve Lavender there as they slow up for the pace car here on the back straightaway. We are on caution on lap 20 of the CourtRacing.com shootout. Laps do not count right now. We will figure out how long the 15 lap segment, when it will start. We will figure that out as we wait for the pace car to make its way out there. In fact, they're actually going to complete a lap and come back to the pace car, which is driven by James Gutta right now as he does a 70-mile-an-hour line through
Dave,
1 and 2.
I can tell you that he is beaming right now. Jim's dream is to be the pace car driver. He has
experience. He has experience doing
the
this
All-Star race. Yes.
Yeah.
But he's loving it. All talk this week at the shop and stuff was talking about him being the pace car driver for this. I don't know what his obsession with it is, but he just absolutely loves it.
Technically, he is a car in this event, technically, due to the iRacing.com service classifying the Ford Mustang as an actual race car. So James Gutta is technically listed as the 9th place car at the moment, but he is clearly not a competitor in this event as he picks up the field in turn 3 as they come to pit stops here on lap 21 technically, but that will get all reset here at the moment. John Dragonetti is the free pass. He will go by the field here, and we will get ready for the pit stops, I assume, here on lap 21.
Strategy is definitely going to come into effect here. Some people might not take any fuel.
Everyone stays out here, so we'll find out if we will go back green here shortly. We have a communique in between the race control and us here in the booth. Unfortunately, we're not able to talk directly to the booth, but we do have messengers who are passing us notes along the way, and that's much appreciated. And if they are hearing, I would like to know if we are going back green roughly anytime soon. It appears as if this is the 2 to green lap, quote unquote, and then we will go back green for 15 green flag laps. So it looked as if that first 20 lap segment, everyone was just fairly content with just riding, getting to this halftime break, and then they will come on back and they will try and win this one in the 15 lap green flag segment.
Absolutely, and you know, people are going to try some things. The first couple of laps may just be feeler laps. Can I push my car here? Can it go there? Can I take it 3 wide? Should I take it 3 wide? But I guarantee you, when you get down to those last 10 or 5 to 10 laps, there's no holds barred.
Yeah, it'll be brass knucks time at that point. You'll be going all full bore for that right there. As we head down the back straightaway and head into turn number 3 again, what an exciting time to be a part of the Championship Online Racing teams. The Daytona 500K in a couple weeks, the Matador Sim Designs Duels next week, and Train Paint Series, Train Paint Championship Series, DW12, first full season for that car, and the Truck Series. Going to be visiting a lot of the same venues that I went to last season, but it doesn't have to really change. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And a lot of those trucks don't get fixed in races. They get beat up, they get banged into, they get chewed up, and they're really exciting series there, that RPM Truck Series.
One of my favorite things to say, as I have control of the Super Trucks Twitter
Actually, hold that thought. The field is coming down pit lane. I'm not sure what exactly is occurring here, but the field is coming down pit lane along with the caution car as they come down pit lane and head towards pit road as pit stops, I believe, are occurring. Nope, pit stops are not occurring. In fact, the field is stopping on the exit of pit lane. So this appears to be optional pit work occurring at the moment as we look and see John Dragonetti getting pit work, Matt Harrington and Steven Taylor getting pit work, as Taylor will beat Harrington out, Luvender, then Harrington, but Ehrman, Husby, and Black stay out. So right now, I gotta be honest, I have no idea what is going on. As we have the field stopped on the exit of pit road. We are currently in between segment 1 and 2. I wonder if this is a break. Are we having a 5-minute break?
I don't know, Dave. Nobody's passed us anything. I'm looking over at race control.
A 3-minute break is occurring right now, so why don't we take a break? We'll come right back with the second half of this one. You're watching Court Vision. And we're back here at Daytona International Speedway in the middle of a 3-minute break for the Court National Cup Series here at the Daytona International Speedway. Here for the CourtRacing.com shootout, we have just completed the first 20 laps of a 35-lap format here tonight, getting ready to go for a 15-lap green flag run to the finish. David Amboys alongside Chris Sweat here as we've seen a very exciting first opening half of this one, and looking forward to the second half of tonight's event.
Oh, definitely. It was just a teaser of what we're going to see in these next 15 laps. A little bit of hard racing, a lot of bit of patient racing, which you're not going to see within the next 15 laps. 15 green flag laps, I should say. Everybody's being nice. Everybody's giving and giving and giving. Well, except for the people who get pushed by Dakota Ehrman. But you're going to see a lot more of that in the next 15 laps.
Yeah, absolutely. But it worked out there at the end of the segment for Dakota Ehrman. He was able to get a really nice push from the Fortuna John Dragonetti, who unfortunately fell victim to connection issues earlier on in that segment, and was able to be pushed up to the front and took over the lead there late in the going in that segment, and was able to take the lead on lap 20 of that segment, and was able to take that segment away from Steve Luvender, who mounted a pretty nice trend. But we wait here for the restart of the segment pace car is holding the field there at the end of pit road. A 3-minute break here for the field, which feels like, quite frankly, the longest 3 minutes of my life.
It's even worse when you're sitting inside the car. It's just, you want to get back out there. You don't want to stop. That's the worst thing you can do because you're sweating and you're tired and nerves are starting to calm down by the time the break's over, and you got to ramp yourself back up to get yourself mentally back in there. The breaks are terrible, man.
This is not the first time we've seen breaks in court. We've seen it with the court RPO or court super late model tour. We have seen a 5-minute break used there, but that was an informal thing for a fun run series. But never have we seen it in the court National Cup series. The Steve Lovender rolls into the line now as we wait to get going again, as understanding that this was a last-minute addition to the format tonight as we get ready to go again. Field waiting in line, and again, this a lot of new faces, new colors this season. Brett Black is in some different colors this season as the field begins to roll back down into turn number 1 as we get going again. Brett Black's in some different colors. He's in the discount tire colors this season, as that's a pretty fine looking automobile for Brett Black. As we head back around and we get ready to go. Not sure if this is the 2 to go or the 1 to go now, as we now get back going here tonight at Daytona. Getting ready to go. Should be a very exciting final few laps. This one should be 15 green flag laps. Who knows if we get a full 15 green flag laps, but we'll have to check it out and see if we can here tonight. Again, these guys are getting some valuable track time ahead of the RPM or ahead of the Matador Sim Designs duels next week. That will be held here on here at Court next week. No broadcast for that, but that will be open to everybody who wants to try and make it to the Daytona 500K. And so many entries this season, so many entries for the Daytona 500K, and people will be going home empty-handed next Wednesday, a week from now. That will be something to watch out for. A lot of drivers, a lot of big-name drivers who are not in that field. Corey Stevens, David Amboys, I'm not in that field. There's a couple others there. I believe Jim Gutta is not locked into that field. Ben Kilcrease, who won Michigan last season, not in that field. So a lot of drivers trying to on the outside looking in. Wayne Lemke Jr. out of the Excalibur group. Ben Whistler, not locked in. So a lot of drama, a lot of high pressure situations a week from now when we head to Daytona. Alright, so we wait here under the caution as it appears as if Steve Lovender was actually lapped by the field, as yes, now he rolls off. He did an extra lap at some point, and now we head him up for the restart. We are going green this time by for the 15-lap final segment of this one. Dakota Ehrman is your leader. Mike Husby second. Brett Black third. Steve Taylor fourth. Matt Harrington fifth. Julian Medor sixth. Steve Lovender seventh. John Dragon eighth is your field. All 8 cars still running at this moment as we get ready to go here. This should be very entertaining. 7 cars on the lead lap, 1 not. John Dragonetti, and you got to figure that's going to be the wild card in this situation as they come down the back straightaway once again and get ready to go. Here we go. 15 green flag laps. They will get the green when that ticker says 25, which if we stay green when it displays 40, we will be done. Simple math there. So that ticker at the top of the screen will display 25 when we go green. When it displays 40, we will be done tonight if we go green all the way. But I have a really big gut feeling that we won't.
Probably not. Probably not. People are going to get crazy. People are going to get edgy. They want to win this. This is bragging rights. We don't have this that often, so it's I don't know what to say. It's gonna be wild.
Here we go.
I
Pace
can't see
car.
what's wrong.
Pace car getting ready to go. He is Jim Gutta. He is going to turn left right now. Field in the hands of Dakota Ehrman. He leads them to the green. We are back green. 15 green flag laps to make up the end of this CourtRacing.com shootout. We are back underway as we head back to racing. Steven Taylor falls immediately in line with his teammate Matt Harrington. Julian Madore forced to work with Mike Husby, which they did do in practice, but now it is Dakota Ehrman and Brett Black on the inside lane, as now Ehrman blinks for a slight moment, blinks again. Kind of ironic considering that he's driving a car sponsored by a cable company, but go figure, as Brett Black and Steven Taylor ride in behind him. Madore has fallen to the bottom lane. Mike Husby's going to look. He might fall in as well. No, yes he does. But top lane as now Lovender will make a pass on Madore for the 7th spot with some assistance from John Dragonetti, who is trying to help the field out here. They head back to the line. 14 to go this time as Dakota Ehrman is your leader, followed by Brett Black, Matt Harrington, or Steven Taylor, or wait, I messed that all up. Dakota Ehrman is your leader, Brett Black, Steven Taylor, Matt Harrington, Mike Husby, and then Julian Madore at the moment. John Dragonetti, that blue and green car, is 2 laps down. If he gets 2 cautions, he might be in this thing, but I don't think he'll get them. Here they go, back out of the back straightaway, as now the 2 Toyotas in the field. Husby and Lubender going to try and mount something on the high side. Husby leads that group on the high side, not quite able to do anything at the moment as they come to 13 laps to go. 13 to go in the CourtRacing.com shootout. As now Ehrman blinks again, but he hangs on to that top lane, or to the top lead, top spot. Here comes Husby. Husby now trying to get it going on the high side. He's got Steve Lovender behind him. The 2 Toyotas, the only 2 Toyotas in the field, trying to get something going on the pair of Chevrolets that are Smoke Racing affiliated, as now the 2 Ford Performance Racing teammates kind of bump and grind there. They try and get something going, but now Ehrman and Brett Black are trying to hang on to that top spot, 1 and 2. They still are, as they ride behind them is the Ford Performance Racing teammates of Steven Taylor and Matt Harrington in that order. Husby and Lubender have broken apart, not together. They're going to fall back a bit, maybe try and mount a charge late in the going this one. Ford Performance Racing, though, kind of laying in the weeds, just looking. That bright yellow car and that black car behind the 2 Chevrolets at the front of the field, the 2 black and red cars. In fact, they look very similar, those 2 cars right there. It could be kind of confusing to those of you just tuning in. That is Dakota Ehrman at the front and Brett Black behind them. There you go. You can even read the names as they head into turn number 3. And Black tries to just work with Ehrman, and kind of a change of aspects compared to the first half of this duel. Ehrman was trying to lead, trying to push people to the lead, and kind of got left out by Brett Black earlier on, but he nonetheless is trying to do his best here. Leadless is 10 laps to go. They are coming to next time by. They will have completed 10, or they would have completed 5 laps in this segment. When they get to the line, that will mean 10 laps to go. 10 green flag laps to go, that is, as they head down the back straightaway again. Whole field in a line, not really doing anything. They head into 3. A little bit of a breakaway. 3. There they go. That is Black, or that is Ehrman, Black, and then Taylor. Taylor, in fact, might have looked inside for a second on Black. He got a little tight on the edge of the floor. Wasn't quite able to do anything there. But nonetheless, they are all in a line with 9 laps to go at the moment. 9 to go this time.
And you know, things are definitely going to start heating up. We're inside 10 to go, and people are going to try to make moves. It's going to get crazy.
Harrington and Taylor. Taylor made a looked for a move, didn't quite able to do anything as they head through 3 and head back towards the trial again. Harrington and Taylor, you gotta figure out swapping a move. And in fact, you know what? Husby and Lavender and Medor are looking to charge something on the high side. 8 laps to go this time as they head down into turn number 1. As here we go. It appears as if, actually it is 9 to go. My apologies, 9 to go this time. Here they go, back through 1 and 2. Here comes Dakota Ehrman, hanging onto that bottom lane. Got that pole by qualifying on the pole at the Independence 500K last season, hanging strong in the bottom lane and is hanging in there, but Mike Husby and Steve Luvender are there. Husby, high lane, Luvender, high lane, Ehrman, low lane, Black low lane, as now Lavender and Husby are trying to get TRD its first court shootout victory.
Right behind them, the duo, the Ford Performance Racing, laying in wait to see what happens here. Nobody wants to try to go up in the high line to work with Luvender, and Husby. They are giving it everything they have to try to get. Oh, now Lavender pulls off. Lavender was probably getting too high. You can't push much longer than that, and you don't want to kill the car. He's going to drop in line and cool it down a little bit and try to make a charge a little bit later.
And Mike Husby is going to start falling back. Steven Taylor now goes by him. Matt Harrington is going to go by him. Husby looking desperately for a hole. He has one in front of John Dragonetti if he can get it, and he does. Husby falls in line in front of the lap car Dragonetti, as now it almost looks as if Brett Black was thinking about making a move. This is 8 to go, 7 to go. I'm not sure. Damn it.
Who cares? Great racing. I don't even know what the hell lap we're on. But everybody right now, single file, line time. Seem to figure out Husby trying to go up on the high side, but nobody will go with him. Dragonetti looking inside. Nope, Husby's going to drop back in there. Single file as we dive off into turn. Oh, that's close.
Yeah, Black and Taylor. Taylor might have had something on this. I didn't quite do it. Got to figure those Ford Performance Racing teammates of Steven Taylor and Matt Harrington are going to try something before this one's all said and done. Here they come to the line. This is 6 laps to go. 6 laps to go. As Dakota Ehrman has led this segment, wire to wire so far, after finishing in the lead after a great start by John Dragonetti at the end of segment 1, and has held on to that bottom lane the entire time. But you got to figure Brett Black, Steven Taylor, and Matt Harrington kind of want the bragging rights at the end of this one. Here they come. So 5 laps to go.
Right now, looking like Lavender and Medor are going to try to mount on the high side, hoping they can get a push there. They're starting to pull up alongside the 2 of Harrington, the 6 of Husby, side drafting down in the tri-oval, coming to 5 to go this time.
Julian Medor has not mounted a charge all night. He has laid in the weeds. Could have been a tactical move after all. Medor and Luvender in the front of the field with that Toyota Camry. Julian Medor with the Chevrolet SS, trying to make a charge down the back straightaway. They might have something. Here they go, down the back straightaway on 5 laps to go. Steven Taylor has ducked out a line. Matt Harrington has ducked out a line. There's 3 wide right there in the middle of the pack as they head into turn 3.
Luvender and Medor had to give a little bit as they got pushed up by the 42 of Taylor and the 2 of Harrington. They need to get back in line and try to get it coming. We're coming to 4 to go, Dave.
4 laps to go this time. Steven Taylor has jumped out a lane. Matt Harrington has jumped out a lane. They're going to try and mount something. I told you these Ford Performance Racing teammates were lying in the weeds. It's very eerily similar to what they did the last time we had a Ford shootout. They're trying to make a charge on the high side. Will it be second time the charm again for those Fords? The 2 Fords in the field, battling 2 of the Chevys in the field, getting pushed by a Toyota. Husby pushing those 2 Smoke Racing affiliated cars as they head through 3 and head back to the tri-oval for 3 laps to go.
4 on top, 4 on bottom. Both lines are dead even. It's just a matter of who can get the best run coming across the line. Still, it looked like it. Oh, I can't even talk. I'm not excited. Ehrman, Black, Taylor, Husby, Harrington, Lavender, Medor, and Dragonetti a couple laps down.
Same line equals, or both lines are equal, I should say. 4 apiece. 4 on the inside, 4 on the outside. It's going to be an even Stevens race as they come down the back straightaway for one of the few final times. Brett Black below the yellow line. Brett Black is below the yellow line. He gets back up just in time to defend his position from Mike Husby. But Black is below the yellow line, and Steven Taylor has taken the lead and has left his teammate Matt Harrington on the out to dry.
Oh man, he left him out to dry. Black had to pull out, get some air to the number 4 car. That allowed Taylor to pull the grab. Get up there and drop in front. Dave, we have 2 to go. Things are heating up now.
2 laps to go. Mike Husby's going to move up to the high lane. He wants to win the CourtRacing.com shootout. He's not quite able to do it. He falls back in line. Steven Taylor with a very aggressive move, and Matt Harrington is falling all the way back. A tough break for Harrington, but Steven Taylor, in the victors of glory, is trying to win a second CourtRacing.com shootout for Ford Performance Racing, as now Ehrman and Black and Husby and Dragonetti are trying to mount something, and you got to figure that lap car is going to possibly be a wild card in this finish. Here we go. Black, Ehrman with the crossover.
Oh,
contact, they keep it straight. Joe Amador and Mike Husby hard in the outside wall. They wreck behind him. We go green to the finish. Here comes Ehrman and Black. John Dragonetti trying to push him. He got to figure that he's going to be a pick, and now the 2 Smoke Racing cars working together here down the back straightaway on the final lap. You got to figure they're going to pull something. Here comes Steven Taylor and Steve Lovender, the 2 Steves on the high side, not able to mount anything. Brett Black and Dakota Ehrman pushing, trying to make it to the finish. Off of turn number 4, who's it gonna be? Here they go. Here comes Black. Trouble behind him. Here comes Black. He's trying. It's gonna be Dakota Ehrman. Ehrman wins the CourtRacing.com shootout. Dakota Ehrman takes it from Brett Black at the line, and Dakota Ehrman, after winning the pole at the Independence 500K last season, and after a charge on the final lap of segment number 1, does what he has to do and wins the CourtRacing.com shootout. What a finish.
That was an amazing finish. That is exactly the racing you want to see in this type of event.
Dakota Ehrman, your winner. What a finish in this CourtRacing.com shootout. And look at that, Ehrman Motorsports, one of the newer teams in the championship online racing teams, gets its first victory, albeit an unofficial non-points event, but nonetheless, his first victory for that team, and what a finish right there. I think I speak for the group when I say that was getting really crazy there at the end.
Oh, definitely. That was awesome. You didn't know who was going to come out of that one, and it looked like Husby and Mador were mounting something and just got too close, bumper hooked, and then all hell broke loose back there. But Ehrman was in the right place at the right time, pulled around Lovender to win segment 1, and that was a difference maker right there.
Whew. I think I lost my voice at the end of that one. I was trying to get the finish called there, and it was quite a finish. And it appears as if Brett Black's or Dakota Ehrman is going to light him up. Wrap it up there. One heck of a finish there. Dakota Ehrman, Brett Black, Steven Taylor, Steve Lubender, Matt Harrington, Mike Husby, Julian Mador, and John Dragonetti, your finishing order here tonight at the Daytona International Speedway. We'll try and get a word with your top 3. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back to Court Vision's coverage of the CourtRacing.com shootout. One heck of a finish here tonight in a non-points exhibition event. It was definitely chaotic there at the end, and Dakota Ehrman brought home the gold for Ehrman Motorsports and brings home the first checkered flag of the Court Season 5. One heck of a finish, hey Chris?
Absolutely. That was wild, and that was the perfect segment layout. Don't change the thing. That was the racing we needed to see.
Absolutely. Let's go ahead and pull in Dakota Ehrman, your winner tonight of the CourtRacing.com shootout here. Dakota Ehrman, your winner tonight in the CourtRacing.com shootout. Dakota, congratulations on the victory. One heck of a finish there. Was able to hold off Brett Black there at the line and Steven Taylor. Got to figure that was one heck of a finish for you.
Yeah, I knew I knew when it came down to the last lap, if I was on the inside on the lead, that I could probably hold them off through practice or from practice. I actually practiced that scenario multiple times for some reason. Came down the lap before that, and me and Taylor making contact. I think that was my fault. I don't know, but in the car, I thought that he came down, and watching the replay, I guess I came up. I don't know, but it was, I guess, really cool to put myself in that position anyway, and end up going on to win. It's really awesome. Awesome for my new team, and I'm ready to get the new season started, and this is a good way to really get it rolling.
Yeah, you made a charge there on the final lap of segment number 1 with John Dragonetti after he had the connection issues. How much was John being there to help you get to that lead so that you would be able to be the leader as we started segment 2 and dictate the restart? How important was that to start segment 2?
Well, I mean, if you watch that whole first segment, I'd push somebody up there. Or I'd even get up there by myself, but I couldn't get to the lead. I couldn't get up front and keep myself there. I had to be pushing somebody. Nobody else could get to my bumper and actually get me up there. And then John got there at the very end. I actually put him back into the pack when he was up there slow on the outside, and I tried to get him to go with me. He wouldn't go, and then he ended up right there at the end, just right on my bumper. And had he not have been there to put me up there, I wouldn't have ended up there, and I would not have been up front the entire last segment. And that was really important with the fact that we'd already heated the cars up, and so it was really hard to keep them cool. Even when I was up there trying to push cars by on the outside in the first segment, I was so hot that I had pretty much used up everything I had. So, I mean, it was very important to have him there, to get me up front. He was even there at the end of the race behind Brett Black. So, I mean, that was just really cool to see him running well. And unfortunately, he had those problems that cost him the laps that he lost.
Yeah, and that's going to just about do it. Dakota, you got any final words you want to say? Anybody you want to thank?
Yeah, big thanks to Smoke Racing, John Dragonetti for, the past years on court that he's let me run for him. Brett Black for running with me there the entire run. He did a great job of keeping me up there. All the guys back at Ehrman Motorsports, my drivers, Chris Carpenter and Brian Sullivan coming over the season. It looks like we're going to have a really good season. I'm ready to get it underway.
All right, there's the first court race of Season 5, Dakota Ehrman. Congratulations, Dakota.
Thank you.
All right, there's Dakota Ehrman. Why don't we go ahead and get in touch with Chris? He's caught up with Brett Black, your second place finisher here tonight.
Dave, I'm down here on pit road with Brett, and Bud, you were a fender away from taking that one. Talk us through that last lap.
Well, I was pushing Dakota there, and I thought I could have had him. I swung out too wide off of 4, lost any side draft. Waited too long. It's kind of a rookie mistake.
I almost had it though, man. I was pulling for you definitely on that last run there. Got a little crazy in the last couple of laps, the second segment. Do you think people were pushing a little bit too hard, or do you think that's going to be about what we're going to see in a couple weeks?
I wouldn't say it was too hard. It was a pretty clean race all race until about 5 to go. And even then, it wasn't that crazy. Just one block gone wrong.
Definitely. Brett, first time and with new, obviously you worked with Dakota there, kind of a Smoke Racing Alliance. Just kind of a hint as to the big race if you're going to work with him?
Could be. That all just depends on how things unfold. I'll definitely be looking for my Smoke teammates, but it'd be nice to have someone else too.
All right, anybody, Mike's all yours. Anybody you want to thank?
I gotta thank Court Racing, courtracing.com, Court Vision, and Smoke Motorsports. Smoke Racing. Oh, I even screwed that up.
Oh man, John's gonna kill you. You gotta get the team right, man. Come on.
We'll just blame it on it's the start of a new season.
All right, buddy. Go celebrate a good second place finish.
Thanks.
All right, Dave. That's Brett Black, driver of the number 4 Discount Tire Chevy. I think you've caught up with a third place finisher. Have you?
Yeah, that is Steven Taylor, our third place finisher here tonight. And Steven, one heck of a little run there at the end. We're able to kind of mount a charge against the rest of the field. But you weren't quite able to get to that front, or you weren't able to hang on to the lead there at the end. But take us through those final few laps there. Definitely crazy there at the end.
Yeah, me and Matt had a plan as teammates for FPR, and we executed it perfectly. I got to the lead and hung him out, but had to do that, and we got off turn 4. I had the lead, everything was good. Dakota made an excellent move. He double-crossed and went under me, and I tried to chop him, but didn't want to make that second block and wreck everybody. Made some contact, and from then on, I was just riding in third from that last lap. Kind of ruined that, but good move by him and good win by him. That was a fun last lap there. A bit crazy.
Yeah, take us through that in between you and Matt Harrington. It seemed as if you guys were both committed to going to the lead and maybe making this another FPR 1-2 and another courtracing.com shootout just like the first one, but looked as if you kind of left them hung out to dry there at the high side.
Yeah, that was the plan, and then he was running real hot, and we had pushed for probably 2 laps, and I had to make that move to the bottom, and he told me it was probably a good thing I did, because he was going to blow up anyway and probably have a problem. It's plate racing.
All right, well, Steven, who you want to thank for this third place finish here tonight?
Thank FPR, and Riding Out Power Sports is a good debut for these guys, and start, if we can run third all year, I'll be looking at another championship. So, good start.
All right, that's Steven Taylor, ladies and gentlemen, your third place finisher here tonight in the courtracing.com shootout. Thank you again.
Thank you.
All right, that's just about gonna do it for us here at Daytona. Chris, your final thoughts on this one?
This is a small taste of what's to come in our 5th season. We've got bigger fields. We've got more talented drivers. It's going to be nuts when we get 36 of these guys out there.
36 cars will start the Daytona 500K 2 weeks from tonight. And you got to think, it's going to be one hell of a show when we head to the green flag 2 weeks from tonight on LSR TV. So for all of us here at Court Vision, I'm David Amboys alongside Chris Sweat. Want to thank you for tuning in. Not sure when we'll be back, but more than likely we'll be back in time for the Indy 500K qualifying on August 25th. That will more than likely be the next time you see or hear from us here on Court Vision. So for Chris Sweat, David Amboys, thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next time. So long, everybody.